This video will show you how to change the rotors on a 2011 Chevy Silverado.
To turn the steering wheel so the caliper faces me and gives me a little more room to work.
So in this video I'm going to show you how to just replace the rotors. I'm not going to replace the brake pads because I recently replaced the brake pads for about a month ago, and then I realized that it was rubbing unusual. You would hear a whoosh, whoosh, because the rotors are warped. And so I'm going to replace the rotors and not replace the brake pads. If you want to see how to replace the brake pads, click on the link right there, and it'll take you to the video on how to replace brake pads, front brake pads on this Chevy Silverado. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is take out these two bolts right here that are holding the caliper in place. And I'm going to use a 3/4 inch bolt. Sorry, 3/4 inch socket. All right. Set the screws to the side, so where they are, bolts. Now I'm going to remove the caliper. When I remove the caliper, I'm going to zip tie it up here. So it has a zip tie that's kind of holding it, supporting it off the spring, so it's not hanging and adding pressure to the brake line. Zip tie through here. Alrighty. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is take out these two bolts right here, and I probably won't use my rattle gun. I'm going to use a breaker bar because these ones are probably on pretty tight. Alright, got it loose. Ratchet. Alright, set this to the side, and we're gonna take it apart, take off these brake pads. They're still pretty good, and I'm also going to replace the hardware, which is these little brackets that hold in the brake pads, and I'm going to replace this part as well, and then we'll clean up and knock all the rust off this. Set it to the side for now. Now, one thing that can cause a lot of heartache for you when you replace these rotors is this little screw right here that has like a hexagon type head in there. Especially as rusty as this is, I don't think I'm going to be able to get it out. I'll give it a shot. If it doesn't, I'm going to end up drilling it out. But you don't really need this in there once you place it back on, because the lug nuts will hold it in place once the tire is screwed on, so you really don't need that, but we'll try and take it out. Spray some WD-40 on it. Yeah, let's see if we can get it off. I doubt it though, it's probably gonna strip out. Yeah, it's stripping. Alright, gonna have to drill it. Alright, we're about to drill this out. I might have to turn this into a how to remove a stuck rotor video as well. So, we're gonna be able to get this off. Since it's stripped, it's so rusty, it's just drill it. So, that's what we're gonna do right now. Drill it in the safe. All right, now that we got that screw out, which was a pain to drill, should slide right off, but it's on here pretty tough, so I don't care about this rotor, so getting rid of it. So it's gonna take a beating. Time to knock her off. This one is really on there. Broke it in half to get it off. Good thing we're putting a new one on. All right, now I'm gonna do a little cleanup before we put it back together. Use a wire brush to brush around here and get all the rust off. Okay, got the new rotor. Gonna pull it out. It's got a little bit of grease on it, so I'm gonna wipe it off. Put that on. Then to hold it in place while I'm working, I'm gonna put a lug nut on. Before I put this back on, I'm going to clean it up a bit. It's pretty rusty, so I'm going to take off these brake pads, take off this brake hardware, put some new ones on. First, I'm going to clean this thing up a bit. It's pretty dirty and rusty. Set my shoes aside. This one just fell right off. Gonna throw these away. I'm gonna want to sand that up. Use my wire brush. Sand that up. Clean up right in these grooves where the hardware is gonna pop in to hold the brake shoes in place, brake pads. All right, so the hardware came with some new of these rubber bushings you can see here. So I'm gonna take off these old ones and put on the new ones. So here's the bolts coming out of it. Now to get these off, we're pretty much gonna destroy them as we pull them off, but we got new ones, so the best way to get it off is to get a screwdriver and come in at the side. Get it right off the screwdriver until it starts to bend, because it's pretty soft when we move. This one's really mean thing. Let's start cooking. replacing the new bushings. So to put in the new bushings, what I end up doing, they don't slide in perfectly, so I will get like an extender from a socket, slowly tap it around the ring. Got it even all the way around. Almost. All right, this one. Next thing I'll do is put the bolts back in, put a little more grease on them, so they stay lubed. Alright, now I'll put the brackets in. I'm going to put a little grease right here in these grooves. Now I'll put the hardware back in place, so I put the brakes in there. Before I do that, I'll put a little grease right here. Helps it slide better as the pads move around as the brakes are pressed. Take each one and pop it in. Right, there you go. Alright, now it's time to attach it back on. Alright, time to attach this back on there. I'm going to spray off the inside of this, kind of got a bit dirty. I'm going to use a brake parts cleaner, kind of clean it up a bit. Right. Then I'll slide this back in place, bolt it back on. Okay, now I'm gonna put the caliper back on. But first, I'm going to compress these plungers back in. Even though I'm putting the same size of shoes back on, I found that it still settles a bit. And so I'm gonna need to put a clamp on here to compress the calipers back in. And I just use the brake pad and a C-clamp to help smash it down. Alright. Put this brake shoe back in. Brake pad back in. Put the caliper back on. Whoops, other way. Let's spray it off, get it nice and clean with some brake parts cleaner. And that's it. Now I'm just gonna put the tire on and I'm good to go. Thanks for watching. Hopefully it helped you or didn't confuse you too much.